Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join with me are my co-host, Joseph.
Yellow.
And Jehu.
Wow. You really pulled off that one.
We're going to do a February news roundup since it is March now. It's pretty much been March for a whole year, but it's March 21. I think this is in mostly chronological order of how things were released, but I'm probably wrong. The first thing, Marvel's Blade movie hired Stacy, I'm going to mess this up, Asai Kofur. I don't know.
Wow.
She wrote Watchmen.
Cool.
Which is a good show.
Which, the show.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be the writer for the film. And they're hoping to start shooting this year.
You know, I actually hadn't heard any of that. And that's all great news. Watchmen was maybe the best thing to happen in years. And starting this year is good because honestly, I thought this one was like years away.
Agreed. No director announced, but strong. Everything we've gotten so far about this movie is strong. So I'm hopeful.
I will say I did hear, and I don't know if this is confirmed or rumored, that they're going for a PG-13
Yes, I don't
on the Blade movie. Yeah. I don't know if that means anything. I know that, it can be done R, but also I feel like it probably could also be done not R.
I feel like Blade 1 was R, but in no way needed to be. Like there was nothing about that. I enjoyed it more that it was R. And maybe Blade 2 might be different, but I think they can do this movie in PG-13 and be no problem.
Well, you see, that's the irony of PG-13. I think like Blade 2, like psychologically impact-wise, should be for people 17 and older because there's some like just fucked up visuals in that movie, I think, that are not meant for children. That said, if they didn't have the curse words in it, it'd probably be PG-13 because we don't give a shit about that kind of stuff as far as the rating system goes.
That's true.
Next thing.
Oh, wait, hang on. One more thing before we get on from Blade. We're going to be on this forever. Did you guys also hear that Wesley Snipes is making like an alternate Blade movie that's going to be R-rated? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I literally was sitting here trying to think of what joke can I make about Wesley Snipes still trying to do Blade on his own, and instead it's really happening.
It's really happening.
Awesome. That's great. Good.
He called it like his anti-Blade movie, but it was still like Blade. I don't know. Yeah. That guy. I hope he makes it. Honestly, I want to see it.
There's a lot of crazy in Hollywood, but I'll give it to him. He is always interesting crazy.
Yep. Some big news from early in the month. We got the cast, the two main leads for The Last of Us TV show.
Yep.
On HBO. Bella Ramsey, who famously played Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones. Basically, the only reason to watch the show, season 6 and onward. And Pedro Pascal, the main reason to watch season 4 of Game of Thrones, cast as Ellie and Joel in Last of Us.
I mean, look, this is your fault. If we had not talked about this in any way, I would have been really excited about this casting. But ever since you planted Josh Holloway in my head as an option for Joel, like nothing else was gonna do it for me.
Listen, I'm not mad about Pedro Pascal getting this role. I think he's gonna be good. But I wanted Josh Holloway or Nicholas Coster-Waldau or however you say that, fucking Jamie Lannister. I wanted one of those two dudes so bad for this role that it being neither of them was disappointing, even though he's a good actor.
Right.
How many super successful TV shows does Pedro Pascal need?
Exactly. How many times does he have to play murdered dad? Like,
right. That means that I know nothing about this game, so I'm going to go with better than Transformers on the casting, because why the fuck not? It won't make a difference to me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I do think at its very base level, the plot of Last of Us and the plot of Mandalorian are strikingly similar.
Similar.
If there was one real reason to be disappointed in the casting, it's only because it feels like this dude is already riding a mountain of success for kind of already playing this character. So
right.
That's it. I got a bunch of trailers. Do we want to do those now or come back later and just hit some news things?
I don't give a fuck. Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Well, it's written this way, so we're going to do trailers next.
Love it.
Guys, there was a fuck ton of trailers this month. One we probably don't want to talk about, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. We finally got the first quote-unquote real trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League. This one not set to Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Good joke.
Thank you.
Great pun. I actually got in an internet argument with someone over this trailer because I made a joke about how it doesn't include the Hallelujah, and they're like, he does it because of that was his daughter's favorite song. And I want to go on record and say, that's fucking bullshit. Zack Snyder uses Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah in every fucking thing he makes. This was no different. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, this movie's 4 hours long. We're all going to watch it, but I am in no way excited for it.
I mean, the one thing I thought about this was I've always thought, listening to him talk and seeing a lot of his work, that Zack Snyder lacked complete self-awareness about himself and his fan base. But man, releasing this on Valentine's Day, like, he gets who his people are. He knows they don't have anything going on. There's not any flowers being delivered. There's no chocolates being eaten. They are playing video games and masturbating bitterly. So he put one out for the team. So good for him.
Joseph, do you have thoughts? You're the least excited, I think.
I am absolutely the least excited about this. No, I mean, look, this whole I don't know how to describe what kind of bottomless pit of feeding itself terribleness this kind of this whole process has been, because it's already the Snyder Cut of Justice League is the internet made manifest in reality.
Right.
Which is a thing that I already don't think needs to happen. You know what? I think the internet can shout all it wants. I think it's best for all of us to ignore it for the betterment of mankind. But then in the trailer for this internet-made manifest, we've got one more of Jared Leto's The Joker backpedaling the damaged forehead pad tattoo, which I take umbrage with. But then also, putting the "we live in a society" meme again from the internet into fucking reality, into a goddamn script of a real movie that somebody had to fucking say.
I totally forgot that happened. So thank you for bringing it back up.
So I don't know how fucking deep this rabbit hole goes, but I hate everything about it. And I'm not excited for the people we're pleasing with this, but it's all the people that Hurt was talking about, and I hate them all.
Definitely, X-Men Last Stand is off the hook now for I'm the Juggernaut.
For sure, right?
This is way worse.
Well, hang on a second. Wait, was X-Men The Last Stand the one by Brett Ratner?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, never mind. Fuck it. We can't let it off the hook. It's super canceled.
Oh, I'm not letting him off the hook. I'm just letting that moment, and specifically Vinnie Jones, off the hook. Unless Vinnie Jones has raped somebody. Has he raped anybody?
It's so hard to say these days.
I'm assuming that he hasn't raped anybody when I said that.
Well, on the Zack Snyder note, let's just keep rolling with it. He also released a trailer for Army of the Dead, his Netflix zombie film.
Oh shit, I forgot to watch this trailer. Was it good?
So here's the thing. I'm a big fan of Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead movie.
Same.
I think it's a good movie. I think it's one of the best zombie movies of the last 20 years.
Same.
This feels very much like Dawn of the Dead. I'm actually really looking forward to this film. Did anyone else watch it? Joseph did.
You know what? I did not watch it.
Okay, well,
we're bad at this, guys.
You're not good at this job. This is why we don't get paid.
Can you tell us any more? Is it set in the same universe? Is it just like a?
I don't think so. So the premise is there was a zombie outbreak in Vegas, and it's like been walled off, and this like elite commando unit is going to go into Vegas to try to rob a casino during a zombie outbreak. And it's got a bunch of fucking famous people in it.
I love that Zack Snyder watched Ocean's 11 is like, this wasn't fucking rad enough.
Yep, yeah, exactly. It's 100% exactly what happened.
It was definitely like, people love heist movies and they love zombie movies. Wait a minute.
It has a lot. It feels very similar to Dawn of the Dead in the, it just has his like style of zombies that he had in that movie in here. At one point, Chris D'Elia was in this movie, but then he got canceled. So somehow he's no longer in it. Dave Bautista's in it. I don't know. I'm going to watch it. It'll be on Netflix in May. Looks fun, in my opinion. Much better than Justice League. I'm going to go on record and say that. I wish Ian were here because these are the two we would argue about the most. Cruella and Mortal Kombat.
Oh, for sure.
I liked one of these and disliked the other. Ian
and the
felt
answer
the
might
opposite.
surprise you.
Yeah. Let's start with Cruella. I thought this trailer was a bunch of fun.
I thought it was too.
You and I, man. No, everyone
always.
else disagreed. Yeah. Jehu, did you watch this one?
I did, and I was overcome with ambivalence. Like I didn't dislike it, but I also like there was nothing about it that made me think I was going to watch it. Not for me and all that jazz.
I hate the premise of just like regurgitating these movies for live action. So the fact that you want to make a 101 Dalmatians movie but you're going to do it completely different, you're going to involve some of the same characters in a totally different way, I'm on board. It looks fun to me.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't really understand what this movie is supposed to be about, in the sense that, like, I don't think maybe it is. I don't think it's going to be about the 101 Dalmatians. I think it's just going to be about Cruella, but I don't really know what her fucking deal is. I don't know what her story is, but I like the look of it and I like the tone of it. It seems like it gets what it is. I hope it does.
Yeah, I heard someone say it's Joker meets Devil Wears Prada, and that kind of sold it for me. I hate Joker, and I don't want it to be like Joker at all, but I kind of also want to see how Meryl Streep gets to where she is in Devil Wears Prada, and that's what I hope this movie is. I am cautiously optimistic about this film. On the flip side, I thought Mortal Kombat looked like shit.
It does look like shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's from a series of shitty looking movies and stuff. It's just such a silly thing to try to adapt. So I don't know if I could say I was disappointed.
I think that's exactly the problem. I think it doesn't pick one way or the other.
Right.
I think it needs to be more ridiculous or try and make it more into a real movie. But right now, it's just straddling like B-movie levels of we like to tell a real story, but we don't have the capability to.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you remember the internet version? The internet version where it had like hyper realistic versions of the characters. Like yes. Jax was like an LAPD officer, and that's kind of not necessarily what I want it to be, but to Joseph's point, like either go all in and make a realistic, gritty, version, or go super, super camp. And like certainly exclusively with Sub-Zero and Scorpion, like they look both at the same time. And I want you to be one thing or the other. I don't know. It just doesn't grasp me the way apparently the internet is in love with it. But
it's just one of those things like with a lot of, I was thinking like with The Last of Us, a game that I don't know anything about. I'm often like, what is the point of adapting something like this that is already a story? Mm-hmm. And I've always thought, well, it'd make more sense to adapt older games that really have a story that you make up in your head. But then looking at this, I'm like, well, the story I make up in my head when I'm playing Mortal Kombat is more interesting than this story.
I mean, it is important to note that, like all video games of that era, there is an elaborate amount of lore and backstory that's in the liner notes of those little game packages that nobody read. But there is a super extensive established lore for the Mortal Kombat universe that I don't know a goddamn thing about.
One of my first jobs had a Mortal Kombat 2 machine in the lobby, so I am super familiar with the lore because it would play it in between asking you for a quarter. So yeah, I understand that. I just think it's still one where a lot of it's left to your imagination.
Yeah, well, again, because you normally you don't it's not part of the story. It's not part of the gameplay. It's just extra stuff that how deep into it you want to go, you can find out. But
here's a weird thought, guys. This is specifically for Christian and for Hurt if he has anything to add to it. How is it that anime is so fucking good at the tournament arc and just movies and live action just can't fucking do it?
I think because of time frame.
Is it time frame?
I think you can't do it in 2 hours, honestly. I mean, you could make an argument that anime like Yu Yu Hakusho, God, there's like
the whole
300 episodes of tournament fighting.
3 seasons or 1 tournament.
Yeah, unreal. However, to give it the opportunity and build tension, like you need fights that are successful. I think you need multiple fighters. I think, and to do that in 90 minutes, I don't feel like is enough time.
Man, that's a great point. How long do you think this fucking movie is? If it is 1 second over 90 minutes, that's
for
fucking
sure.
Insane.
Yeah, stupid.
That's true. 100%.
everyone is very excited about the fatalities and the fight portion. And look, I will watch it for that reason alone. And it'll be on HBO Max for free for me. However, I want more depth than that. Maybe I'm a douchebag, but I want it to be a little bit more. Like Joseph and Monster Fights. I want a little bit more than just that.
It definitely, I think it should be a series instead of a movie, so you could have episodes, devoted to each character and stuff, because it's really hard not to just focus on one or two when you do it now. Well, one more thing on the subject that has nothing to do with this movie. I just wanted to get this out there to the world, that at one point I was so into Mortal Kombat that I had Mortal Kombat Velcro gloves without fingertips.
I hope to God that you still have those.
I wouldn't put that on the internet.
I just have one of them.
Oh, that's a shame.
That's even better. What the fuck? You're walking around like Michael Jackson, but with Mortal Kombat gloves.
That's a good point. That's a big point. I'll have to dig that out.
If you're not wearing that the next time we go to Pensacon, I'm going to be sorely disappointed.
All right. That's enough of that fucking trailer. Constantine, HBO Max, making a new show. J.J. Abrams producing. Rumor is they would like a person of color to play the lead character, and that it will lean more so on horror than it will magic. Whatever. Fine. Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of good horror Constantine stories, so I can see that. Person of color sounds fine. Fuck, get Idris Elba to do it if he'll come back to TV.
That would be good.
Idris Elba would be
It's been a while since we've done an Idris Elba casting. Come on, guys.
He's kind of disappeared for a while, but he would, he's got the real broody thing down. I feel like if you guys have ever seen the show Luther, I feel like it's very much the same character.
Oh yeah. He wears a tie all the time. Same thing.
It is. Shit, we can fan cut this, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think you guys know I'm a big stan for for Keanu Reeves' Constantine movie, and I think that one is largely more horror than magic, and I think that works to its advantage. So I'm super game for that.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I liked the other Constantine show, the one with Matt Ryan that was only like one season. I thought it was pretty good, but I will watch this. We'll get more into JJ later, so I'm saving my thoughts for that.
That's fair.
Right. Sasha Cale, who is a daytime actress, I forgot what show she's on, but
Young and the Restless,
cast as Supergirl and will appear in the Flash movie because apparently that's the only movie DC's making.
I didn't even know that we were still making that one. Also, hang on a second. Am I crazy?
They just keep casting new people for it. So
I know it's really hard to remember who's canceled anymore, but isn't fucking was it Ezra Miller?
Yeah, he
canceled.
He choked a woman and dropped her on the ground or some shit. But
he was totally canceled, but we've canceled so many people that they just forgot he's canceled.
Shit. I remember that video. I usually don't watch him, but I was like, I hate Ezra Miller so much. I want to watch him so I can hate him more.
I mean, it definitely felt like, oh, that's who this guy really is.
Absolutely. That's who I've always suspected he was in my heart.
A lot of times these things happen and it's like, oh man, that was just a bad day. I mean, that doesn't excuse it, but you should be able to come back from that. But with this guy, it was like, oh, that's who that guy really is. That's always simmering below the surface.
Yeah. He seems like he's got some anger issues underneath. I mean, whatever. This movie's made by the guy who made the It movies, and those were okay.
I just feel like, I don't know what, I think there was, magic wise, some kind of hex cursed on the Fantastic Beasts franchise, because I feel like before that whole thing was thought into existence, J.K. Rowling was kind of annoying but not canceled yet. Johnny Depp was not canceled yet, and Ezra Miller was annoying but not canceled yet.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
But in rapid succession, they've all shown true colors and largely felt the backlash. So I'm now worried for everybody else in that movie. Jude Law, please don't do anything fucked up.
Well,
but Hannibal too, man. I love that guy.
Yeah. Well, and it's like Eddie Redmayne. I'm ready
to cancel Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, I was say before that we were like, oh, this guy might be a good actor, and then after that movie, we kind of went back in retrospective and looked at everything else, and we're like, maybe he's not.
Right, that's true.
Also in DC, but I watched the heartfelt video of that girl getting cast, and she seemed really excited for it, and that made me be like, oh, this is sweet. I will watch this movie. Solely for this girl getting her chance to play Supergirl.
We're going to watch this movie solely for this goddamn podcast because we have to.
All 26 people.
That.
Yeah. Blue Beetle movie, directed by Angel Manuel Soto. Using the do I pronounce the J in Jamie Reyes or
I think it's Jaime.
I think it's Jaime Reyes as well. I don't know anything else besides that. That guy's directing it. It's being made. That's confirmed. Cool.
I mean,
yeah.
That version of Blue Beetle is one that I really enjoy. I particularly enjoy him in Young Justice. It's just kind of a fun, goofy dynamic. It's very Venom-like now that I'm thinking about it. But I don't know. I think there's more fun and less rote directions that you can go with that story. So
totally, DC needs a good teen hero. Another good version of it that's been adapted is on Batman Brave and the Bold. It could be something that actually is geared towards kids, except for instead of hot topic dudes in their 30s. So I like it.
Yeah, this guy seemed really excited to bring this character to life, and I am thankful that it's. I don't know. I'm just glad we're going with Blue Beetle. Like, we don't have to keep doing the 4 or 5 big dudes DC has only done. So let's get on some of those more interesting kind of side characters, like you're talking about, Joseph. Like on Young Justice, while they just keep throwing characters at us, like it's a really fun way to meet characters you probably wouldn't if you're only experiencing them through whatever DC's putting in the movie theater. Some other news-ish. This isn't like a major, but I'm including it solely for Joseph. They announced Avatar Studios, which is the original guys from Avatar are having their own studio where they're going to make spin-offs. The first one being an animated movie, and I think these are going to be on Paramount Plus. I'm not entirely sure, but
whatever that is.
Hey, if you buy CBS All Access right now and you use the code Paramount Plus, you get 50% off for a year. So that's what I did, because I'm not going to pay for CBS All Access on its own.
Look, I mean, go ahead. What are you going to say?
This is way off topic, but I'm assuming, Christian, you hated Picard.
I still haven't watched it, bro.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, because I was about to say, he surely watched it by now, and if he hasn't mentioned it, it must have been a crushing blow.
No, I want to watch. My wife hasn't seen the Next Generation movies, which I don't know if that is mandatory viewing, but I'm making it mandatory viewing for her before we do it. And I wasn't going to pay for CBS All Access, but it's converting to Paramount Plus in like a week or something, and you could get 50% off for the year. So I thought I would do it, and we're going to sit down and knock it out, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But you'll be the first to know when I watch it.
Right on.
But anyway, Avatar. Look, you guys know I'm a huge fan of The Last Airbender and less a fan of Legend of Korra. I want to know what happened to the live action one with Netflix. Like,
it's still in production.
Yeah, I know, but like the guys left and now they've created their own thing. And now I'm like, did they leave because they had this other offer? Did they leave because Netflix is such a bitch to work with? Like, I don't know. I just kind of want to know what the fuck happened there.
The rumor is Netflix is casting fucking Katara as the older sibling, so that they're going to make her the oldest of the 3, keep Aang 12, and they're probably going to do Katara Zuko love rather than Katara Aang.
We can't give into this kind of bullshit. Come on.
I think it's better. I personally think that's a better choice.
That's why we can't give into it. Anyway, god damn it.
I actually am on the side of Netflix in this decision. I'm like, oh no, that's fucking smarter.
Are we playing into your little soap brain right now?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, honestly, I only have a vague awareness of this show. I watched a few episodes. I recognize that it's good. I just never, I don't know, for whatever reason, never dived into it. And but I just, without context, I love we can't go in for any of this bullshit. That should be a t-shirt or whatever your exact wording was. That's, yeah.
But like, I somewhat lament Korra because I feel like it rushed through and quickly explored, but also kind of overlooked a lot of the opportunities in this universe. I think there's still a huge amount of opportunities in this universe. It's a really like interesting world. Both like politically and with the bending and all that kind of stuff. I kind of wish we could just ignore Korra, just so that we could spend more time on a bunch of like, kind of the industrialization period. I don't know. There's a lot of different options, but it's a cool world. I'm excited to come back to it, and I think animation is better for it. So I'm game for it.
I kind of agree with that. I'm more pro Korra than I think you are. But yeah, gosh, it's just such an interesting world. I don't want them to go into the future. I don't want more Korra stories, and I don't want the Avatar after Korra. I'd rather go in the past personally, but
yeah,
who cares? Like, honestly, I don't even need an Avatar. You know what I mean? Like, I would be fine if you just told a cool story about some bender. I think that would be fine, but I think we'll most likely see adult Aang stories.
It seems quite probable.
This one, not huge news. Only got 2 items left, saving the biggest for last, I think, but I'm curious to hear everyone's opinion. We got the name of the 3rd Spider-Man film, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Sure.
It's fine.
It's fine. It kind of sounds like an 80s Seagal movie title.
It does, very much.
But yeah, no, yeah, sure, that sounds fine. I mean, it does not change whether or not I was going to watch this. I would watch it, whatever they called it. If they called it Spider-Man, no Jehu's allowed, I would still be there, probably.
Yeah, I have been big on the multiverse theories. This doesn't dissuade me from that. Mostly because I don't know how you connect WandaVision, Doctor Strange 2, and Spider-Man. It's apparently like it's its own like trilogy of stories that are all somehow connected. But this could literally mean anything. So I guess we'll see it. We'll see what it's all about when it gets here. But sure, they're sticking with the home theme.
Right.
Finally, I think probably the biggest news of the month. J.J. Abrams produced Superman movie written by Coats.
You coward.
I'm not going to say it wrong. Ta-Nehisi?
Ta-Nehisi.
Close, though.
It's not spelled that way, but it's pronounced that way.
Look, I think he's a great writer. I'm excited to see what he can do with the character. I'm so fucking done with J.J. Abrams, though.
I mean, for sure.
I'm at my wit's end.
I mean, gosh, there's so many things I don't know what they're going to do about this. I think it was on the podcast that we've talked, that Hertz gone on his whole rant about, white people need to learn the lesson of Superman, not black people.
Yeah.
And, my rebuttal to that in our text was that, I don't think anybody who's helmed the movie in recent years has really understood the lesson of Superman. So I don't think that even if you did a bunch more white Superman stories, you just really get the lesson of Superman anyway.
But I disagree with that, with it being written by a black guy.
Yeah, I'd hope so. That's the thing. You don't know how much interference you get there. But even still, like, what angle do you take this at? It's such an interesting choice. Like, I love the idea, on the real optimistic side, I think it's really fun for like young black kids to be able to like go to the movies and see Superman, like the coolest, most powerful superhero out there. Well, 1, make Superman cool again, but 2, and like see somebody like them. That's awesome. That's great. But like, how are they going to do it? Is it going to be Kal-El? Is he going to have the exact same upbringing, and we just treat it like he's the same Kal-El but just a different skin color and play the colorblind angle? Do we like actually acknowledge that Kal-El would have, Clark would have been treated differently if he had a different skin color in America? Like, I just don't know. Like, how do you fucking handle this?
So this is and I only want to say this. I want to get this in before Jay Hughes says, because Jay Hughes got the most interesting opinion on the subject, I'm sure. This is what's the big kind of like asterisk for me about this is they want to cast a black lead, which is great to the point you're talking about. Like, I think if a young black child should be able to go to the theater and see the most powerful superhero look like them. I'm excited for that. Where I'm nervous about it is if you just do black Clark Kent, are you going to, or is it the same story, or is it going to be Smallville but racist?
Right.
And I feel like that can go the wrong way.
I think both can go the wrong way.
Yeah. The other side of that is if you do like a Calvin Ellis story, it has nothing to do with how good of a movie it's going to be. I'm just going to be really, really annoyed with Trump Twitter and stuff being like, "Oh, you just had to make Obama fucking Superman, didn't you?"
Right.
And that's just going to be unbearable. And that that is going to be so annoying to deal with that it's going to taint the movie as well. And that's not fair.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, that's going to happen regardless of whether it's a Calvin Ellis story
Probably or not. Well, I mean, there's some direct connotation there with Calvin Ellis, but yeah, I mean, probably. But it's just, this is such a thin line, in my opinion, to get it right.
Agreed.
It's going to be tough.
And it's so interesting. And I suspect that Hertz is going to jump in here with something similar. Maybe he won't, because, I know there is kind of a precedent for a Superman-esque character landing in America and having a very different experience because he was, I don't remember if he was brought in by a black family, whatever it was, but Icon.
Yeah, Icon, yes.
Which I understand doesn't have the name recognition of Superman. But I don't know if you'd try and retell a story of similar ilk, or if, I don't know. I feel like that's one, you're introducing a new character if you decide to take it that route, if you went the Icon route, and two, you avoid a lot of the tricky choices that you have to make when you're readapting Superman as a black guy.
I mean, yeah, the thing with Icon is, and way back when they were talking about, casting an Asian as Iron Fist, my main opposition towards it was, if you do that, we'll never get a Shang-Chi movie. And one of my few oppositions to this is, once you do this, you'll never get an Icon movie. Because not only would there not be a need for DC Warner to make it, but there's no way, unless you're just going to completely ignore the fact that Superman is black, that you're not going to have to borrow some of the things from Icon. Right. So, yeah. So that, to me, that's almost the biggest bummer that could come out of this. First of all, just before I get rolling, I feel like if you're someone who's legitimately going to be pissed about this, you don't really get Superman. And Superman, if he was a real guy, if he heard that Michael B. Jordan was going to play him in a movie, he would probably say, that's pretty fucking cool. That said, there just are some things about it that I went through this whole, and you guys saw in text, I went through this whole emotions of it. When I first heard of it, I thought Coats, who, by the way, up to now, I thought his name was pronounced Tanisha. So I was way off.
We know it's recorded on this podcast, and I didn't change it.
Awesome. Thank you. But to be fair, I heard some lady on NPR say that, so it was her fault. But I was super excited about it because he's writing Captain America right now, and his take on Cap could really bleed over to a good take on Superman. He has this take of Superman of of Cap that's sort of, I'm from a different generation. I don't quite get what this sort of movement of today is about, but I know that I should be on board, and I'm trying. And I think that would be great if we were doing a white Superman. And if you take that off the table, you can't really do that. It becomes the other side of that, Mm-hmm. And, also I just, there's all the allegories of, American immigration and the melting pot in the, Superman mythology. And I think 2021 would be a good time to explore that and explore the myth of it. And if it's a white actor, you can do that. I think if it's a black actor, you can't, because Superman would then have to always be on the myth side of it, on the he would always know and understand that the story of American immigration that we have on the side of the Statue of Liberty isn't necessarily all it's cracked up to be for everybody. So I do think by going with a black actor, they miss some opportunities for things they could tell. But I don't know if not necessarily these two creators, not necessarily Abrams and Coates, but this studio and the movies that they've been making. I don't know if they're the guys who are going to give you the black Superman story you want. I think that they, their high watermark was kind of, a movie that had a little person hopping for a doorknob to try to save his life, and it was played for laughs. They're not a subtlety crew. So, I mean, obviously J.J. Abrams has enough clout that he can probably roll over him for a lot of decisions. But Coates, I don't believe so. So, I have a lot of worries about them going in this direction. But that being said, I'm not opposed to it.
Well, you say that JJ does have clout, but JJ has no balls or originality. Like, this is the kind of issue that I really take with it is I think Coates can tell a good story, and I am interested to see his interpretation. But I worry that whatever JJ or the studio thinks is worth telling will be more offensive than not telling it at all.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great point. By casting a white Superman, you have the option to just make another generic superhero movie, which is realistically what Warner Brothers is okay at making, okay to bad superhero movies. But by casting a black Superman, you can't. There's no way to tell the story where you're not taking a stance and making a point. And by painting yourself in that corner, you then have to make that point. And I don't trust that they will recognize, one, that that's the corner that they've painted themselves into, and two, what to actually do once they pick a side.
What you said there made me think of a thing from soap operas.
Okay.
Soap operas pretty early on tried to be inclusive, tried to have, more representation in them and stuff like that. But they weren't always good at it. And what they would really run into the problem is they couldn't decide whether they were, if say you had a black character, whether that character was all about being black or not about being black at all. If it was just another person, in the middle of the sort of soapy, sudsy stories, or someone who only got to do like issue stories. And I think they're going to run into that with this. Is this going to be an issues movie, or is it just going to be a fun movie? And which one better serves? I think it's got to be somewhere in the middle. But then, straddling's not always easy.
No, I mean, and again, there are great. Yeah, whatever. I have no problem with Superman being a black guy. I just want them to treat it with the respect and delicacy it deserves, and I'm just afraid they're not going to do that. That's really what it boils down
100%. I mean, exactly to my point. Like, at some point, they're going to make a decision, whether they meant to or not, where they have taken a stance about what Superman being black means. And the problem is, I don't think J.J. Abrams has made a goddamn stance in his life.
Yeah, and that is really the pure issue. Is name me one thing that J.J. has made that has carried stance or even like some form of deeper meaning or reflection on something, and he's never done it. And I don't know what it will look like based on the movies he makes, because I think we're all kidding ourselves by saying he isn't directing this movie.
Right.
I don't know.
Just in the category of having a problem with it or something. In 2 weeks, we're going to probably get a black Captain America, and I'm fucking pumped about that. Yeah. I think that's a great decision. I think that's a great decision they went with, that even though in the comic, Bucky is the Cap was really the better storyline, I think in the movies, this is going to work better and it's going to matter more. And that's also, I trust those people. I just don't trust these people very much. Yeah. They've made mostly garbage. But and by that, I'm not even saying J.J. Abrams. I'm saying DC Warner in this phase of superheroes.
Yeah, it's not a pairing that gets me excited.
And there's also, there's this part of it that I feel like maybe there's two things. I feel like part of it's just their whole thing that they've been going on for years is, fuck, maybe this will work. But also, I think it's like, well, we can get credit for this. And, that's fucking cowardly. If you really wanted to get credit, if you really wanted to do something ballsy, fucking make Batman black. Make your moneymaker black. Then I'll say, okay, those guys are taking some chances. Those guys are doing something.
Idris Elba
as Black Batman was great. Because really, if you think about it, all Batman is just a fucking rich white guy who thinks he knows better. That's a concept that needs to be shaken up.
I will say this. I think I'll be more okay with it, more on board with all of it, if you don't do an origin story. Because like you kind of mentioned earlier, like if it's just a fun Superman movie with a black guy as the role, then I don't know that it affects the story at all. I feel like it's when you really get to the root of who Superman is and where he came from that I could see you trying to tell a story. And even if you mean well, which I think they will mean well, will still end problematic. I would be totally fine if you just made a fun Superman movie where he's fighting Brainiac or some shit.
Right.
And he's a black guy. That is totally fine with me. The question comes back to, is the point you're trying to tell, are you telling it in a manner that it deserves? And if they do a great job, then I will be fully on board. But I'm putting myself in the cautious.
Will be knocked off if that happens.
Yep. You know what? I honestly, you saying that just talked me into something. They should just Hamilton this shit.
Yes.
Everybody should.
Yes.
Girl Lex Luthor, gay Perry White. Just see everything should be, it shouldn't matter what the person is. It should just be the part in the story.
Yeah. I think that's the way to go personally, but no one's asking me.
I was going to say another thing I was thinking about this, going back to an earlier thing. This can't be seen as anything but a vote of no confidence to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, they're recasting Superman before that shit's even out and they've seen if it's a success. So, I mean, that has to say that Warner does not have a lot of faith in what they've seen.
Man, that already ascribes more intention to any of their projects than I ever think that they have.
That's a good point.
I think they're just done with that guy. I personally he wanted to do like a comic book sequel or prequel story or something. And they were like, no, fuck you. Like, you're getting this and only this. And it's just to make the internet shut up. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. We talked about that for a long time.
Yeah, we did. I have a thought that I'm not going to keep in the podcast. That's just for you guys because I thought it was interesting. It's occurred to me that by and large, Warner Brothers has had a much larger conservative tilt, seemingly for as far as the movies they produce, whereas Marvel is obviously much more of a liberal tilt,
right?
Which, I mean, informs a lot of these choices, including our hesitation about the Superman movie. But
didn't one of Trump's evil Stevens come from the Warner Brothers? Yeah.
Yes.
One of the weird looking Stevens. I don't remember which one.
But I mean, we got
Stephen Munchin is in the credits for Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, he did.
That's who it is, right.
But I mean, the Chris Nolan movies have definitely a more subtle but conservative message, I think. Zack Snyder and what's his fucking face from Suicide Squad are absolutely of that Twitter troll ilk kind of group of people that aren't necessarily, I don't think they're necessarily, Trump people, but are definitely out down with this kind of PC culture that we're living in now.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
Joe Rogan listeners.
Sure. Yeah. The least conservative shit that they've made are still I would say super unadventurous movies in Wonder Woman and fucking Shazam.
Right.
So I don't know. That's an interesting note to me. I mean, I feel like the inherent part of conservatism versus progressivism is conservatism. You want things to stay exactly the same. Progressivism, you're kind of embracing change. But it's interesting to me that, I think the success from Marvel has gotten is because they have very well adjusted to the times. Whereas, DC is, still trying to make movies that were made decades ago now, get the same success, or movies that have messages that don't resonate the same with the majority of audiences.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know if that's worth keeping in because it's more than we usually get into it, but it just occurred to me when we were talking about it.
I think it's worth keeping in, but I one thing I do want to disagree with. You said that the Nolan movies were sort of stealth conservative. I feel like Dark Knight was, but Dark Knight Rises.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
That shit slaps you in the dick in the face with Barry Goldwater's dick. I mean, that shit, it is not subtle at all.
That's a real old reference.
That is.
I almost went with Ayn Rand, but I felt like that was
Barry Goldwater's fantastic.
No, that's perfect.
Now I have to keep it in just for that.
It's funny you say you comparing it to Marvel. I saw a tweet this week that was what is grief but love persevering? That's going around. It was, what is WandaVision but military propaganda persevering? And I was like, are we watching? This is like very much the military are the bad guys in this show.
Right.
But apparently, if your character, in this case, Monica Rambeau, has any affiliation and they give somewhat good attributes to that person, it counts as military propaganda, is what I learned. But
fuck off.
Yeah. But it was interesting because it made me really sit down and think about, kind of the Marvel Universe's opinion of the military industrial complex. And even from Iron Man 1, that has been a constant theme of, hey, this exists. We can still accomplish similar goals outside of that. That's kind of the central theme of Civil War in a lot of ways.
Right.
But I hadn't really made the comparison, but you're right. It seems like the movies are made for two different audiences, and now we know which one is much bigger than the other.
Man, if I had titled this episode, or if somebody had told me about an episode where three white guys with beards sit down and argue about Black Superman for 30 minutes, I wouldn't be surprised, but I still hope people listen to it because it's probably a little different than you expect it to be. I hope it is.
I mean, we are definitely not the only three white guys arguing about this on the internet.
100%.
I hope this wasn't as dumb as it gets.
I hope so too. Anyway, well, that's it for fucking February news. God,
much longer than we anticipated.
Yeah, how much longer do we have to wait till the Zack Snyder bullshit?
I think it's in 2 weeks, man. I think it's in
all right.
2 Fridays.
I gotta prepare myself in advance.
4 hours.
4
hours and 1 minute because he just had to fucking do it. That's just like the most sex. 1 minute of that is just hallelujah. I swear.
I hope 1 hour of it is. You know what? Just fuck it. Let's dig in.
It's Jesus imagery and fucking hallelujah. That's it. That's all that guy makes. People with their arms out wide like they're on a cross and Leonard Cohen talking about biblical boning. Yeah. That's all that guy makes.
Anyway, on that note, what have you been watching this past 2 weeks, guys?
So I have stuff to talk about and I'm really excited, but I'm not quite done with it yet. And I want to wait till I'm finished.
Okay.
Because you guys are going to love it, I'm sure.
Okay.
So the only thing I'm going to talk about is because Daft Punk has decided to call it quits, which, by the way, dumb decision. Like, no one knows who you look like. Just get new dudes. Right. I saw someone say Dread Pirate Roberts this shit, and that's 100% what you should do. It's just like the Dread Pirate Roberts. It's whoever you want it to fucking be.
If they don't like each other, they do all this shit on computers. They don't even have to see each other.
Agreed. The announcement video, which is one that just they're walking through the desert and one just stops walking. It's fucking 8 minutes long. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. You had a different reaction to it because I loved it. I was like, this is how every band should break up.
It's the most Daft Punk thing I've ever seen. And what I'm going to talk about is the second most because I rewatched Interstellar 5555.
Yeah.
Maybe being 12, it's not as fucking weird as it is being 32. But man, this is not like bizarre in the way anime can get. But the general plot of this is a music producer somehow hires alien pirates to kidnap alien band to make hit music here on Earth. And I want to know how you sell that. Like it's just, and we're going to do it to hit tracks of an electronic band that's about as popular as an electronic band can be, but still only about 42% of the Earth know they exist.
Right.
And we're going to show it on a kids network weekly for 6 weeks on a time slot where only 12% of that network's viewers watch it.
Yeah.
It's just such like a bizarre thing that exists. But you can watch all of it on YouTube. And if you like Daft Punk songs like me, you'll probably have a good time, though you'll wish there was some words.
Right.
Sure.
That's it.
It's occurred to me, has Daft Punk ever done a collaboration with the Gorillaz?
No, that would be too good to be true.
Right.
They chose Pharrell instead.
It seems intentional because both of them are always collaborating with somebody.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what I was thinking. Anyway.
I'm trying to think what was the patient zero of putting anime in music videos. I feel
go ahead.
The oldest one I can remember is Matthew Sweet's Girlfriend, but I feel like it has to go back further than that.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, this to me is probably the first time I saw it that I remember.
Right.
The only time I've ever enjoyed it was that one Linkin Park song.
Right.
Meteora. I don't even remember which one it was, but it's not something that, in my opinion, has been created a lot of hits, but about every 5 to 8 years, somebody tries it.
Right. And what it definitely doesn't necessarily make a hit, but it makes a very specific group of people suddenly fans of that band if they've never heard a note of their music before.
Yeah, that's true. That's all I got. Unless you guys have other strong opinions about Daft Punk breaking up.
This week this is the week I decided I'm fucking sick of shows. I don't want any more shows. I'm sick of having to, this show is great. You have to watch 10 episodes to get a story. And then at the end of the 10 episodes, turns out you got to watch it 5 years to get a story. I'm just, the fucking golden age of television is on my nerves. I want some one and done shows to come back that aren't in the fucking genre of crime investigation. We got that shit covered. I want something else. My gold standard is Sunny. Sunny's one and done, but it still has a lore. And it's much more fun, I think, to talk about something like that, where you're sort of helping to invent the lore than just watching a novel on television. So I don't know, that's me, because I just had a lot of everybody, oh, this show's good, you should watch this. Oh, that show is good, you should watch it. And I just decided this week, man, I'm not watching any new shows for a week. So that being said, I don't know what I'm going to do with this segment right here. Usually.
You've reminded me. You've heard. We've definitely at least once on this podcast gone into my rant about the age of pretty good TV. Right. Because I don't believe we're in the golden age of television. Right. I believe the golden age of television died with whatever season Game of Thrones got bad at.
Well, I should say we're still following the format of the golden age of television.
No, for sure. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Which is a TV show is a novel, and I think that's a good option, but I'm sick of it being the only option.
100%.
Yeah.
Can I suggest to you, Hurt? There's a bunch of anime out there that's one season, and the whole story is meant to be one season, and it's beautiful.
Maybe this is where you get me on board.
I hope so. One day.
I don't know if anyone on this podcast is familiar or listens to the Derek Diamond podcast, which is basically the cleaner, more professional version of our show, also produced here in Pensacola. But Derek recently did an episode about what is a better format for telling a story, movies or TV shows. And I texted him and was like, bro, you're wrong on both. Miniseries is the best way to tell a story. Something that's 6 to 8 episodes in length and is one fucking season, and you give like emotional moments time to breathe, but you got to keep it snappy. You're not getting 36, 40, 60, 100 episodes to tell a story. You're getting 8. And I personally think this is one of the things that HBO has figured out post Game of Thrones, like The Night of, fucking Watchmen. Like there's a lot of good, just The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, fucking 6 episodes. Right. You could do it in 2 days, and it's great. I don't need a second season. Just give me 6 to 8 hours of good entertainment. Not 4 hours of Justice League, but this.
I mean, that's a strong argument. Watchmen is a good example of that. And, I was going to say my one exception to this no new shows rule is probably going to be the Marvel shows. But so far, it seems like they're looking to be more miniseries than series, although I guess we'll find out that for sure next week at the end of WandaVision.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's actually, you know what? You brought me to another good point. That's one of the really clever things about the Marvel series that they can do that you can't do with a normal miniseries. So in the normal Hollywood machine that runs all the shit that we like to watch, they want to make shit that we watch, but they want to make it because they want us to give them our money. Right. So the problem with a mini series is it's got a built-in end where the money stops.
Right.
Yeah. And so, mini series are great if they're critically acclaimed, whatever. But definitely the money is going to be in like your fucking 13, 14 season shows that, just go on forever because you can keep using the same people and bring back the same audience over and over again for years. But that's kind of one of the brilliant fucking things about the Marvel series is because the characters are established and the universe is established, you don't necessarily need to see exactly the same characters. You can just kind of mix and match. So you can tell a specific story about a specific set of characters that has a beginning and an end, and then remix and match some different characters in a different TV show, and you still pull in the same audience because they already know all the other shit from the movies and the other TV shows. So that's brilliant. That's really interesting.
Well, it's like the perfect example of what you're saying is WandaVision. It's one season that's tying directly into Doctor Strange 2 and Spider-Man 3. Like, they got us hooked on Disney Plus with the fucking show, and then they're going to make us show up in the movie theaters and keep watching it. And it's going to be a totally different format with different characters, but loosely connected, and we're going to recognize all of it. And so it's going to scratch the same itch, but allow them to tell, a condensed story in the TV show. Smart.
Yep. Very smart.
So
is that all you got?
That's all I got. Oh, no, before I gave up on TV shows, I finally finished Fargo season 4, better than Transformers.
Sweet. I don't have anything really new. Just all of my winter anime shit is slapping so hard. Jujutsu Kaisen, Wonder Egg Priority, and Attack on Titan are all fabulous. The animation is iffy on both Attack on Titan and Jujutsu Kaisen by the same studio. I suspect they spent more of their time on the actiony episodes and less time on the talky episodes. Fine with me. I don't give a fuck. So I'm going to spend my time instead talking about a board game.
Great.
Just because I was on vacation, and it's a board game that I was introduced to years ago that I'm pretty sure like only 8 people have. It's called Chess 4. And it's if you watch Queen's Gambit and then you started to play chess and you realize chess is really hard and you're bad at it and you didn't want to do it anymore, you should get Chess 4 because it's a game where it's essentially 4 people play chess at the same time. It's the board is substantially larger and the pieces are set back kind of in their own little home bases. The rules of like where the pieces can move are the same, but the big interesting part, I think, is kind of the game theory aspect of it, because the way you play it is if you checkmate one of the other armies, one of the other 4 armies, you get all of their remaining pieces on the board and their turn. So there's substantial incentive to not allow somebody to do that, but you still also want to remove other people from the board. So there's a lot of like, it's somewhat chess tactics and you definitely have to like pay attention. But even if you're bad, you kind of get saved by other people who don't want other people to get, someone else to get your army. So it's a really fun game. And I learned about it years ago at one of my previous offices and I bought it and nobody would play it with me. And I finally got to play it on my vacation and it fucking rocks. I love it so much. So Chess 4,
so what you're saying is when you had a captive audience, you finally made some people.
100%.
Yeah. Good.
But yeah, that's it. What do we say was coming out next week?
I think it's the end of WandaVision.
Oh yeah, no, it's the end of WandaVision. Fuck yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about that. So we'll save that. The last 2 episodes, we'll just do a big finale thing.
3 episodes, I believe. I think we've missed. We've had missed 2 since we've aired.
Missed 2, and then it'll be the next one. Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk about all the shit that's happened, all the little nods and Easter eggs, which have definitely been more, I think, as the episodes have gone on.
Definitely.
And yeah, probably where we think this story will go and how it'll impact the Marvel cinematic and television universe, I guess, now at large. So join us next week for that. Well, thank you guys for listening. Please rate, subscribe, tell people about the podcast. If you have any thoughts about the J.J. Abrams Ta-Nehisi Coats Superman and we didn't cover them, please send them in. I genuinely want to hear them and I will be happy to read them out for you.
You guys are racist as fuck.
I'm excited about it. Please do. If you want to tell us how racist we are, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies and on Instagram at real_phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys later.
Later.